On the show this week, we've got the brand new Nuke-proof Scout.
Yes, we've also got some limited edition Crank Brothers pedals.
Ooh, I like the look of those. And we discuss how a bike can cost £10,000. £10,000?
Holy smokes, Anna. I don't know.
So the topic this week is how the heck can a bike cost £10,000?
You tell me.
Well, I will.
We'll tell them.
So obviously we've got a couple of bikes out there. It's not uncommon to see a £9,500 price tag,
Sadly
is it?
not.
Both you and I ride the Orbea Rallon M Limited.
We do, yes.
It's a beautiful bike, isn't it?
It is a lovely one, yes.
It is the limited spec, so it comes with a coil rear shock, which is already a little bit more expensive than air, and it comes with the best of the best kit. We're talking carbon finishing kit, carbon wheels, we're talking Fox 38 factory.
Yeah, Kashima coated where you want it, XTR where you don't want it, all the bits in between. I mean, you name it. It's legit. It's a nice bike, and those bits add up, don't they?
They do indeed, and it's not limited to Orbea. So, for example, you've got the Santa Cruz Megatow, which is just released, which is similar spec with their carbon wheels, their lighter CC carbon frame, and it's got SRAM X01 axis electronic gears on there. So that's obviously not cheap technology there. So,
and most bike companies nowadays actually do have a bike floating around just below or just above that 10k mark. I mean, Trek have got them. You said Santa Cruz Special S-Works stuff. How though?
I know. So we're not here to justify that price tag. I'm not going to say that's reasonable. You know, Orbea do sell a bike for £600 as well. You don't have to spend 10 grand, do you? You can spend 600 if you want to.
For sure.
But what's the common response, Rich? Tell me. What is it people
You can buy a car for that, Anna. I'm going to get me 4 wheels instead of 2.
Yes. When I was working in an office before I joined this company, or before I was in the cycling industry, people were always like, well, you can buy a car for that. So I did my research. I went onto the Ford website and wondered what I could buy a car for. 17.5 grand, mate, is the cheapest car that you can buy straight off the shelf. And obviously you can spec one up, but I wasn't going to go through that. So off the shelf, 17.5 grand will buy you a Ford Fiesta.
So interestingly, 10-ish thousand pounds will get you a top of the range mountain bike, like super legit. 17 grand is probably going to get you a bottom of the range Fiesta. So Anna, to get something for a similar price, we've got some statistics here. So a brand spanking new mountain bike, it's top of the range, 10k. 10k in the car world, in your Ford Fiesta as our sort of comparison, is going to get you a 2015 7-year-old, 70,000 miles on it-ish. So it's 10k a year. And that's fairly standard. Yeah,
I wouldn't want my bike to be doing 10k a year if I was spending 10 grand.
Yeah, so you imagine you know, so again, if we go for a 7-year-old-ish mountain bike, and think about it, 2015, so you're looking at maybe a grand and a half, roughly. We've got some various examples here, like an old, you found a Giant Rain or a Scout and things like that. But they're going to be pretty battered at 7 years old.
So the point is, when people come at you with that argument, is let's compare apples with apples here. Like, you can't buy a new car for that amount of money. But let's just ignore that for now and just think about, well, why? Why the heck is a bike costing 10 grand when, you know, a new car, which is arguably bigger, it's got a lot more going on, is, you know, nearly double that. Why? And it got me thinking, well, it's got to be economies of scale here. So what we mean is like buying power. So the car industry, I took a look at Ford and what they were selling last year. In 2021, they sold 3.9 million cars, not just Ford Fiestas, that's cars, but obviously they get to buy in materials, they get to buy in a lot of tires. You know, nearly 4 million at a pop means you get bigger savings.
Well, they're just monstrous companies, aren't they? So they've got the ability to buy aluminium, not specifically for that car, but just aluminium as a whole, by the hundreds of thousands, as opposed to carbon, and a more expensive material anyway, by the Hundreds, maybe.
Yeah, well, the equivalent, we had a look at Trek. Trek sold around about 1.5 million bikes. So already it's nearly a third of what the cars are doing. So their buying power is going to be lower. And as you rightly said, the cars are made from aluminium and steel, which is much cheaper than carbon. We're looking at carbon frames and wheels and finishing kit here.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how much labor goes into hand molding a carbon frame. I mean, we went to visit IBIS a month ago in Santa Cruz and, well, in America, and, you know, it just takes a long time. We were walking through the factory looking at all the processes.
That's it. It is a labour of love. And all right, let's just quickly go and talk about a carbon car, because they do exist. We'll talk about cars with carbon tubs on them and stuff like that. So we're talking over £1 million. So it's not even really a comparable item.
No, it's not.
Have you got McLaren?
Not yet, no.
Not yet? Damn. I need to get on tech. Wow. Okay,
No,
but I mean, another
so.
relatable thing though, we'll talk about motocross bikes. So again, something with two wheels, a lot of moving parts. But again, a 2022 Honda CRF 450R, so brand new spanking new bike, very nice, very fancy, very fast, is £8,749. That's essentially the top end Honda motocross bike. Yeah,
but do you think that, I mean, is it the same sort of price because it's cheaper to make? Again, it's cheaper to make a motocross bike that's made out of plastic and steel and maybe a bit of aluminium.
Again, I think it does come down to companies like Honda, Yamaha, KTM, Kawasaki, blah, blah, whatever. Just huge buying powers, huge economies of scale, huge factories that make these things worldwide and just churn them out. And that's what brings the prices of these sort of, what I would argue is vastly more complex machines, prices down.
No, I agree. I think it's unfair to look at a 10 grand bike and say, that's expensive. Personally, I think it's a well-priced thing. And we are all just very lucky that cars and motorbikes get made on such a massive scale that they're effectively cheaper. So it's not that bikes are too expensive. It's that everything else in comparison, I think, is more affordable. Okay,
let's get on to another thing then, because we'll talk R&D on these kind of things.
Yes, so that's another thing. Now, obviously, your motocross bikes are getting a bit, you know, on their sort of updates, but they've been going for so long. They've been going since, what, the 70s?
Yes, I suppose. Yeah.
You know, we've only been going
They have changed a fair bit since then, mind, but they have, you know, we're not on like twin shocks and drum brakes or nothing, but...
But let's just take, for example, the Commencal Meta AM29 has just come out, the prototype. And if you just look at that alone, that must have been R&D in the works for the last 3 years, probably. Building stuff, getting designers on it. So that's the labor of designing it. And then they've got to make this prototype out of aluminium. And then they've got to get the riders who have their own team in the EWS. So that's that cost.
That's true.
3 riders riding it, getting paid. And that's just marketing.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here though. Because to make an aluminium bike is fairly cheap and simple. You know, it's no carbon layup, no molds required. It's a jig, you tack it together. You know, a little bit more to it than that, but it's fairly, you know, it's a fairly straightforward process. So I don't think it's the manufacturing of the prototype bike sometimes.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because it's generally,
it's
I think it's the testing, the changing the angles, you know, the rider feedback and inputs, and then a lot of the time companies these top end carbon bikes do begin as aluminium mules. So that is, I'm not sure the actual manufacturing, but the hours behind the scenes. Are probably what.
If we imagine that there was 3 years spent on making that one prototype, so X amount of employees getting paid their annual wage.
So, I mean, I think, you know, we've kind of answered the question there to a degree.
I think so.
How can it cost that much?
Because it's expensive.
Well, yes, but when you think about all the R&D, the tech, the finishing kit from other companies and things like that, it does just all add up.
It does.
Mental. Time for the news then, Anna, and we've got some exciting things, but I'm going to kick it off with the new nuke-proof Scout, the V3 version 3, in case you didn't know.
I've got one of these, I've got a frame, I've got a build up.
So I've got some numbers for you here, because it has been revised across 275 and 290 platforms. Little tweaks along the way. So we've got a head angle of 64.5, nice and slack, a seat tube angle of 74, and a reach on a medium of 440.8. Yeah, so it's got longer, lower, slacker. Chain stays have grown by 2.5 mil as well throughout the range to ensure, so they suit each and every rider. One by specific, UDH, universal derailleur hanger. Everybody knows that, of course. Various, usual mounts, threaded bottom bracket. So it's looking like an absolute weapon of a bike. A good winter bike, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of nuke proof. I love the way it's kind of like a good British bike. I mean, I shouldn't say that because we've obviously got global people here, but threaded bottom bracket UDH. It's just a little bit of external cable routing as well.
It comes in sick factory yellow colour as well.
It does.
So that looks pretty cool too. So, if you're...
I hope I've got yellow. I don't know what I've got yet.
Oh, yeah. What else we got on the news then?
So RockShox have got a whole new lineup. So check these bad boys out on screen right now. We've got a couple of updates on the Zeb forks and some of the rear shock updates. Also a brand new Pike and Lyric, looking sick. Basically, the Zeb gets some release valves on the back there. And the Lyric has now been limited to 140 to 160, where the Zeb crosses up to 160 to 190, and then the Pike goes underneath at 120 to 140. So basically what RockShox are trying to do is separate the forks out to be more specific, no more overlap, and that means that it freed them up to basically make the sort of lighter travel lighter in weight as well, and get appropriate stiffness levels for each fork. So
I think they're just trying to design a fork for each style of riding, really, aren't they?
Pretty much, yeah. So if we look at the Pike and the Lyric Ultimate, basically the top end features, we have a redesigned 35mm stanchion chassis there, the newly designed Charger 3, which has got some exciting things about it. Basically, I'll leave a link to Doddy's video down in the description below, as he's gone into a lot more detail about what is going on with that new Charger. But you've also got high speed and low speed compression has been separated out, and you've got low speed rebound too. There's some really exciting things going on with pressure relief valves and some new bushings and a little silencer as well, so you don't make that scoopy noise when it comes back. Just too much to talk about. Really, you need to go and watch Doddy's video. But basically, the Pike retails at just over $1,000, euros or pounds, and same for the Lyric.
Nice. I'm interested to see if any of those 190mm Zebs are going to start making an appearance at an EWS or anything.
I know, they're big, aren't they?
That's a big old fork. That's like Rampage days of old bar spin.
There's not many 180s about, is there?
Few and far between. Well, it was the Zeb, the 38.
I've seen a 180 on the Salsa back in the Sea Otter Classic. We just saw it, and I looked at it and I thought, damn, that's a big bike.
Yeah.
So 190. It's interesting to see if anyone's
for sure. Right, next, Crank Brothers new limited edition pedals, Seagrave editions, black and pink. You can get them in the mallets, the stamped flat pedals in the two different sizes as well. They look cool. Yeah.
Black and pink. What's not to like? Would you rock that?
I would, definitely.
You would, wouldn't
you? Of course
I would. Also, we've got some Ergon grips, brand new GXR grips. Now, this is focused on cross-country. They've already been tested on the World Cup circuit for the last year. What we're looking at is this new air cell rubber, which is basically better damping and a lighter weight, popping in there at just under 90 grams for the small. They do come in two sizes, small or a large, basically. And you get them in 4 colors now. So we've got Midsummer Blue, Risky Red, Juicy Orange, or Black.
Behave. I've actually got a set on my XC bike. Just the black ones. Yeah, they're very comfy. I used to use foam grips a lot of the time. See, Ergon didn't make a foam grip, but now they make this push on rubber version. Very comfortable. Good anti-vibration qualities.
Nice.
So like my full-on XC bike, which is just 100mm, carbon everything, solid seat post, it takes all the the little vibrations out of the ground. Yeah, you can feel it. So yeah, good set of grips.
I used to run those sort of squishy, like silicone foam grips. Does it similar feel to that?
Not too bad.
Nice, but probably a lot more grippy because I used to slip off handlebars when it rained on those.
Ejector hands. Nice.
Yeah. So we've got a quiz questions now, as usual. So Chaos and Tani Seagrave just released the new Crank Brothers limited edition pedal. What bike do they both usually ride? Brand and model, please.
Okay, next up, where did the RockShox Zeb get its name from?
And similarly, where did the RockShox Pike get its name for? Hint here, those two are linked. Okay, it's time for comments today. So last week we were talking about how we got 400,000 subscribers.
Bravo! Bravo! Good work.
Thank you. I've been here for 5 months. I can't really take the credit. But Doddy and everyone behind the scenes has done a really, really good job. And so obviously we were just celebrating and reminiscing a bit on some old videos. So we've got David Parrott here who said, richly deserved praise for you guys at the channel. Big respect to all behind the scenes. That's a good point. Simply the best on YouTube for tech support and a bloody good crack with little and large as well.
Bloody good crack.
Bloody good crack.
Ew.
Yes.
Well.
And we keep the little and large theme, don't we?
Hang on, wait. There we go. Yeah. Right, next up. Galford Bogard. Congrats, guys. Great content channel from Asia. Cheers, Galford.
From Asia.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's a long way. What have we got next?
Will Lange says, watched and enjoyed every episode, even before the new channel started. Terrific content all along. Episode 78, Bike Caveman. Oof. I tried to figure out what this meant and I couldn't find it. If you guys know what he's talking about, let me know down in the comments below because that passed me by, I'm afraid.
Yeah, right, okay. Brownsworthy. Been following Doddy since his MBUK days as I love his enthusiasm for the sport. The presentation of his reviews, the way he educates and entertains is brilliant. Anna has been a great addition and works well with Doddy. Congrats on 400k. Good work, guys. Yeah, nice.
Thanks. Arvin Emboscado. That's a great name. Just 400,000? Question mark. Those mountain bikers who are not yet subscribed are missing out big time. Keep it up, guys.
Yeah,
thanks.
Definitely. Go tell your friends. Subscribe. Come join us on tech, even when Doddy's not here. It's still fun.
He's all right.
A little less technical, I don't know. But, Chimps for Gimps, hell of a name. Wow. Is that your secret account?
It's not. That's not me.
Oh, right.
No.
You are one of the standout channels in mountain biking. Well done, team. The other standout being GMBN, obviously.
Yeah, or GCN maybe.
In mountain biking?
No, that's for sure. GMBN.
Okay.
Steve Sepala. Congrats on 400,000. I'm glad to have found this channel. Enjoy every video. Thanks to Doddy and Anna for making it so entertaining. I look forward to every week for new stuff.
Awesome. And last but not least, Ish474 just says, RIP Doddy's moustache.
RIP indeed.
That's that. Thank you very much for all your comments. Time for those quiz answers, Anna, and the question was, first up, Chaos and Tani Seagrave just released a new Crank Brothers pedal, but what bike do they both usually ride? Brand and model, and the answer is...
Well, of course, it's the Canyon Sender.
Obviously.
The DH bike, which was pink to match those pedals at the Vanta Jam, I noticed.
Snazzy. Where did the RockShox Zeb get its name from?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It is Zebulon Pike, a classic American explorer who first summited Pike Peaks back in 1806. Why is that relevant? Well, we'll find out. What's your next question?
Where did the RockShox Pike get its name from? Hint, they're linked. Hang on a second.
Pike got its name from Pike Peaks, which is basically just over 4,302 meters high, a summit that stands above RockShox Design Center in Colorado Springs. So they named it after the peak, and then they named it after the guy who went up it.
Fair play. Well done, Zebulon, whatever.
Pike.
Zebulon Pike?
Yeah.
Oh, Pike's Peak, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that has been a banger of a show this week. Heck of a show. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Hopefully we've had a good time together.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought in the
You've
comments
learned
below.
some stuff.
Yeah.
And
might be back, might not. Might see Dottie next week.
And join the debate in the comments below about the topic today, and it is how the heck can a bike cost 10 grand? Do you think it's reasonable? Let us know down below. Bye for now.